Hi, I'm Reverend Sean Thompson with the Centered Path. I'm an ordained Buddhist minister, and I do lectures and teachings on meditation and mindfulness and mental health, as well as just completed a book on how to apply mindfulness, mental health, and meditation in a Buddhist aspect to basically health and normal everyday life. That's where I go with my ideas, and that's where I'm trying to teach people how to get into something like Buddhism and use it in a normal modern world where things are so obviously crazy. Now, usually the path, everybody begins this path differently. And you start exactly where you are, just like it says up there. And some starts with books, some start with questions, some start with mindfulness and maybe one breath, just a little meditation. Some start with a vow. They say, I take refuge, or something like that. And those are all great ways to start. Now, there's no single doorway to the Dharma. The Dharma, remember, that's the teachings, right? And the access to all of this knowledge and the way of living more fully and more engaged and more in this world, and also not being affected and troubled by so much of the outside and inside world. There's three ways we can get into Buddhism, and one is the studying like the Buddha. So start just like he did. He started with skepticism, he started with depression, he started with anxiety, just like we all do. And he didn't begin with belief, he began with curiosity. He wanted to know some answers. What is the answer to my suffering? How do I get past this suffering? Is there a way out of suffering? What is the cause of suffering? And we can do the same kind of studies. Okay, many people, they start the same way. They start reading, they listen, they watch videos, they study the teachings, right? And there's an entire huge list, and you can start anywhere. The study gives you what's called right view, and you start to see things actually differently, and it'll cause you to start thinking about the way things are and the way you respond to things. And that's a very, very vital point in Buddhist training, Buddhist teaching. It's understanding the cause and the effect. That's karma, by the way, and the mind and the heart. And karma is actually action, so it's going to be our right action. The more actions we take, begin with the basics. When you study this way, start just like he did. Right after his first sermon, he started with the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path. Read them slowly, study them, get an idea of what those things mean. What does it mean to really grasp or to cling? What does it really mean to suffer? What is dukkha, right? What are those things? And really get a good definition for yourself so that you can start to understand a little better. The Buddha began with questions. Maybe this is the same way for you. The second way is the path of experience, practicing before you know anything else going on. Now, others find it not through reading, but through practice. You start with meditation. And maybe you sit and do some meditation and you find it completely boring, and you find that your mind races, and you find that you have too much anxiety and then you can't sleep, whatever it is. Same thing with everybody else. And that's part of it. So we start with noticing our mind and our thoughts. This is the typical meditation of mindfulness, and letting them go. Not being attached, not being dragged by them, not trying to pull them, not trying to push them away or push them towards you or pull them in. Just watching. Then we can get into a little bit more sophisticated one called the metta bhavana, which is the development or the cultivation of loving kindness. And that's a game changer. That's one where you can get a lot of insights into yourself and insights into others, and it can change the way you approach the world. That's important, right? The experiential stuff, books can't tell you. You have to do it. And the third way would be the path of refuge, and that's choosing direction, right? In this one, you take refuge. You take refuge in three things, or guidance is probably a better word. Like, I vow to look to guidance, look for guidance from the Buddha, the awakened one, not this like God or anything. The awakened person, the person that had awakened, right? The Dharma, the teachings, and the Sangha, which is either, depending on how you're looking at it, it's either the teachers and the group of those above you that are like monks and nuns, or it could be the community in which you live. And that's really where it all started, right? We trust awakening as a possibility. And when we really make a commitment to start to study, look for guidance with those things, right? The Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. And it doesn't get so hairy that you have to try and get away from everything all the time and try to get into a temple or into a monastery or into a retreat. We don't have to do that. We can do this simply. We can do it at home. We can do it, find a small place that has some teachers or has people that can help you. Good Dharma friends, very important thing, by the way. We know that that's a kind of an essential thing. It's very hard to be a Buddhist all by yourself, because then you don't have that interdependence, that interrelatedness, and that community, right? The Sangha, as it were. So study, practice, or refuge, whichever you choose. It all opens to the same path, really, is what's going to happen. The Dharma meets you where you are, but doesn't leave you there. That's kind of cool. So how do you begin? With a question, with a breath, or with a vow? Start where you are. That's already the path. I'm Reverend Sean over at the Center Path. Don't forget to subscribe, because I'm going to continue on with each one of these little objects of meditation, as it were, or objects of contemplation, to get you better thinking and get you better control and better a friendship, a friendliness with your own mind and your own spirit and your own existence through the practice of Buddhism. This isn't like a proselytation, although it sounds like it, doesn't it? It's more of like, let's figure out ways that we can live better. Okay? There we go. Don't forget to subscribe down at the bottom, over here, wherever it is. It's probably right there. I'll have a little thing. Subscribe there, and you can look at the other video right over there. I have a lot of other videos that I've done, and I'm going to be redoing some of them, and we'll go from there. I hope to see you soon. If you have any questions, comment for me or send me a message, and I'll answer it for you as best I can. Thanks.